Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am looking fabulous, as you can tell. I want to try a bunch of new products. I already curled my hair and I want to keep it out of my face. So I want to see what's good, what's not, and I will link everything down below. If you're new here, I hope you stick around and subscribe. And if you like trying new makeup videos, give this video a thumbs up and let's go ahead and zoom in and start trying some products. So I've got you zoomed in. Let's start off with these new Persona Peptide Lip Balms. So these, I think, are a reformulation. I do know that Persona did have a bubble lip peptide balm, and it said on the PR package, new and improved formula, but there are more shades. So I was sent 3. I wanna say there's maybe 5 or 6. So I'm gonna throw some swatches up. I am wearing Bubble right now. Bubble, I wish had more pigment, just because I like something that has color to it. But I thought that I would apply this shade called Pomegranate on top. The other shades besides Bubble seem to have a nice pigment to them. And in terms of formula, it feels really nice and comfortable on the lips. It has a nice like slip to it, almost like a gel type feel. You can see just the tint that this gave my lips. So if you like chocolatey colors or reds, I think that you would find a shade that you really like in this. But it's not super thick. I don't find it to be sticky or anything like that. I don't think that I notice a scent, nothing that I can detect. So if you don't like scents, then maybe this would be for you. So I'm gonna wear this as we go on, but my first impression is good. I do think that there's just so many lip balms on the market. You really gotta wow me like the BabsBeauty ones, and that's really hard to do. Next, I have some more body mist to give my review on. I purchased all 4 of these myself, but I did talk about this in my previous trying new makeup, asking if you guys like when I include fragrance or body mist, and you guys all were overwhelmingly like yes. So if I get to a point where I have enough, I will start doing like dedicated videos, but it is hard to keep up with the makeup launches, and if I throw in like all the, perfume launches as well, that can get pricey and overwhelming. So I'm just gonna go with what I decide to purchase and what is sent to me. But I was really intrigued by these. So I have some wins and some that I'm not really that into. So this one is the newest one, and I was most excited about this. This is the Boy Smells Doll Skin Body Mist. Now this is a collaboration with Bratz, like Bratz dolls, which I was like, that's kind of interesting. I have to say the packaging is a 10 out of 10. It feels really like customized. I like the logo here. The cap adheres on really nicely. It just feels elevated. I also like the sprayer. It's something that I haven't seen before. Again, just very customized. So this is described as a fruity fragrance, and the notes are strawberry, vanilla orchid, and plastic doll accord. This I love. If you have ever smelled like a Cabbage Patch Kid, it has that like sweet, I don't know, like plasticky, but also like strawberry sort of vibe. I initially spritzed this and thought, okay, it has a little bit of a powdery spray when I first spray it out, but it settles into this like really beautiful, musky Cabbage Patch Kids sort of scent. I love this. I've been wearing it every day since I got it. I only got it like 3 or 4 days ago. I don't know how to describe it other than if you know what like Barbies or Cabbage Patch dolls smell like. And then the next one that I got is the Cream Dream Body Mist. So this one I thought was gonna be my favorite because it has those, typical like warm notes. So this one is described as a gourmand, and the notes are French vanilla, buttercream, and blonde woods. Now this one I just kind of feel like is kind of standard. It's been done before. We have so many scents like this. This one just gives me maybe like a mix of the Fleur Vanilla Skin without the spice mixed with the Fleur Heavy Cream. It's kind of like if those two married. There's just nothing special about it. It smells like what it says it's gonna smell like, but it doesn't have that extra oomph like, let's say, the Sniff Extra Whip has. So I like it. I think it's good, but I have it in my collection 10 times over. And then I did also pick up the Fruity Lips Body Mist, and it has raspberry, cherry blossom, and cocoa butter. Now this scared me a little bit with the cherry blossom because, again, anything floral, but the cocoa butter I thought would ground this. Okay, this one is really, really fun. It is fruity. I definitely get the raspberry, and then I get a little hint of that like cherry blossom, but it's more of a cherry scent rather than like a floral, kind of sweet, musky dry down. So I find this to be really like bright, fresh, fruity. I would say this is a sweet scent. It doesn't lean overly floral, which I like. The only one I don't love, and I'm probably just going to gift it or I don't know, sell it on my Poshmark, is the last one. And I didn't think I was going to love this, but I wanted to get the set because it was a better deal. So this is the Lychee-licious. Now they do describe this as a floral, which is why I figured I wouldn't love it. And this has notes of lychee, peony, and sugared musks. I would describe this as a fresh, bright floral. I get that peony. I do smell a little bit of that lychee in there, but again, it does lean floral to me. It's not like a heavy floral, like something that's going to give me an intense headache. It's more of like a fresh laundry type of floral. I just think it's too floral for me. If you like floral, you would probably like this. And if you thought we were done, we're not, because I got a surprise package from Philosophy. So they have come out with hair and body mist as well. My first initial impression is that this looks very similar to the Fleur. This is a large bottle, so I think the price point is better than Fleur, but this looks like eerily close. So that was something immediately off the bat I noticed. So let's start out with the Coconut Rush. And this has notes of zesty mandarin, creamy coconut, and vanilla. I have to say that the packaging isn't my favorite on this, but the scents are really nice. So this one I definitely get a coconut vanilla, very warm, but it has a little bit of something different, like that zest in there. Has that little bit of like a zing. Really, really nice, fresh. It's not, to me, like a standard suntan coconut. I think that vanilla mixed in really gives it that nice cozy vibe. Like this would be something that you could wear in the fall, in the winter, as like a cozy vibe. So the next one is Pistachio Paradise. And this one has notes of pistachio flour, creamy cinnamon milk, and warm vetiver. This is pretty complex. I am getting heavy, heavy, heavy on that creamy cinnamon milk, but it's not cinnamony to me. It's like a creamy, frothy milk, just warm and cozy. I get that pistachio. I don't get any like flour, but it's very like creamy. It kind of makes me think of like a creamy pistachio latte or something. Really, really nice, kind of nutty. I think this is really nice. And then the last one is Vanilla Hug. So this one has notes of delicate freesia, vanilla, and warm woods. So this one definitely is like a vanilla woody scent, but I can smell that freesia. And I don't find it to be like overly floral or like irritating. It kind of gives something different. So instead of like the smokiness or spiciness of a lot of vanilla fragrances, this just has that like light freesia mixed in, which I think is nice. I do think they did a good job, and I like what they've mixed in to kind of make these stand out. I just wish the packaging was a little bit different, but I'm not mad at these. I think these all smell really nice. So I went ahead and zoomed you in more because we're actually gonna start on the makeup. So if you don't like the fragrances, hopefully you could just skip past that. Just a lot of body mists and stuff coming out, and I do purchase a lot, and then I do get sent some. So I wanna go in to the eyes, and I have these new Urban Decay palettes, but these are the Naked Shaped multitasking palettes. So they come in two different colors. We have like a warm and a cool. I have to say I hate the packaging on these, and I'm really disappointed. I feel like we are continuously seeing prices rising, but we're not necessarily getting the quality in packaging and formulations. And this just goes for everything, not even just makeup, but like clothing and food and restaurants. And it's quite frustrating. I just cannot believe that this is the packaging that they chose. This is like flimsy. I just think for the price point and for knowing what Urban Decay can do, I wish that they wouldn't have gone this route. And I'm confused why, because it just feels very, very cheap, very lightweight. It has no mirror. You slide it like this, which I don't mind the sliding aspect of it, but the fact that there's like no mirror and it's just very, very light in the hand, it's very, very flimsy. I don't love that. Now this is supposed to have like 4 creams in the center, and then you have these different shapes. I'm not really into the different shapes, but it doesn't bother me if the formula is incredible. And I do like the fact that there's creams in here because that gives you something different. I'm gonna put some swatches up. I don't think these swatch the best. I noticed that the shimmers just really didn't have much oomph to them. They are like standard metallics. And then the creams, they're not overly creamy, but they're kind of sheer. If you swatch them, they just don't have a ton of oomph, which again, could be good or bad, I'm not sure, so I'm gonna try them out. I think I'm gonna go in with this cool palette, and I will say, even swatching this isn't really like super cool toned in my opinion. It's leaning more like neutral with a couple, you know, icy shades. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with this shade right here, which is one of the cream shades, and I'm not setting my lower lid because I am going in with this cream. It's a pretty stiff cream, which again, it doesn't bother me if it has a blending ability and if it doesn't like crease. And then I'm gonna take a clean brush just to kind of soften. So I'm sure you can see it's more of a sheer formula. Again, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just upon swatching, there wasn't like a wow formula for me. So I'm just kind of building this up just for some depth. Next, I'm gonna jump into this shade, which is a matte powder and a different brush. This has a little bit of kick up in the pan. I wanna see how this goes over that cream. So far, it seems to be doing okay. So it's sort of blending out and then kind of into the crease here. And if I get too crazy out here, I don't really worry about that because I'll clean it up once I finish. So I'm just taking that shade and I'm gonna go over the cream and then sort of fluff towards the brow. Next, I'm gonna jump into this shade that looks to be sort of like a charcoal, but with a little bit of navy. So we'll see here. And I wanna keep this like tight and lower. Just sort of soften it, kind of like a wing. I love these like smoky wing looks, but they're kind of a pain to do for my eye shape. And they're hard to film on camera. Like a lot of times I'll do these looks when I'm, you know, just doing like a Sephora haul or favorites. It's hard to like show on camera because I'm like right up in my mirror, and a lot of times I'm like cleaning it up and then starting over and then cleaning it up, and it's kind of a process. So just kind of applying a wing, and then I'm just gonna go over this and then kind of go back in. It's kind of like a building process here. And then I'm gonna take a different brush and just really stamp this at the base so we get the most intensity. I am noticing though that the only black in this palette is the cream, which I don't think would be a good formula as a wing. So I went ahead and did the other eye to match as best I could. I want to jump into this shade right here, and I want to see if I can soften the wing just a little bit. So I'm just gonna smoke this softly and then kind of blend the edge. So now I want to go into a shimmer, and I'm trying to decide what shade to use. I think I'm going to start with this shade down here. I don't know, I'm just not like completely wowed by the shimmers in here. It's a pretty standard metallic. It's not bad by any means, but I just don't really feel like a pizzazz. I'm gonna jump in and try a little bit of this topper. It's pretty chunky, so see if I can get this to, it's pretty, it's just kind of chunky on the eye. Trying to like blend it in, but also still get that like soft scattered look. I'm just jumping back into this shade, and I'm just gonna kind of emphasize around that shimmer. But next I want to go in and try out this new Maybelline mascara. So I'm definitely late to the game. I purchased this a couple weeks back, but this is the Bubble Colossal Mascara. So many people have raved about this. It went viral, I think, on TikTok. So it has this standard kind of medium-sized wand, and I've tried it before, and I don't really know if I was wowed, but I also wasn't like, I hate this. My lashes are like pointing inward. It must be the way I'm sleeping on my pillow. It's definitely more of a wet formula, I would say, but it is giving me some nice volume and length. My issue again is I feel like my lashes are already like falling. So this is what the mascara looks like. My lashes are not in the best state. I have some that just like fell out, or I don't know if they were ripped out, and then they're growing back and they're actually irritating my eye, so much so that I've been doing like eye washes where I stick my eye like in solution and like blink with it open, trying to get every like thing out because it feels like there's something in my eye. I've had some issues in the past couple years with my contacts like really bothering my eye, and this eye has been the worst offender. So I feel like this eye's like strained even more. Anyways, my lashes look like shit, okay? My lashes don't look good, so it's hard to judge, but if this recurls and holds, I'm not mad at it. I just feel like I'm getting a little bit of that drooping. So I wanna move on and let's start on Complexion. So I was sent some products from Point of View or POV Beauty, which is Michaela's brand. And I know she's like a super polarizing topic. So let me know if you want me to review the other products or if you're like, no, we don't care. But I thought that I would try this Drench It. This is a soothing priming milk. And since I love like milky toners, that's what I use under my foundation a lot. I thought I could try this out. Okay, so I just put some on my hand and I wasn't expecting this to be clear. I thought it was gonna be like milky. We're gonna just try this out. I don't detect a scent. It's very, very lightweight. I was expecting more, I think like the Rhode Skin Milk or toner. I mean, it's clear, so it's not even like the Bioma that I love. That one has a little bit of like that milky texture. This one's completely clear. Feels pretty lightweight, so I don't know if this would be enough like in place of moisturizer if you have really dry skin. I also wanted to try this Easy Blur Primer from Huda Beauty, but this is in the Bronze Fudge shade. So she sent over this package with like all these little minis, and this was a new product. So I'm gonna swatch this. Wow, it does look like a fudge. This is interesting because it's kind of like a bronzy primer, but it's in the blur formula. So it has that, I don't know, silicone like blur texture, but with like a bronze. Very, very unique because usually like bronzing drops are glowy. They're not like in a blurring primer. So I'm just gonna apply this, focusing on my T-zone. It feels like the original, but maybe a little bit thinner. So I wonder if the formula is a little bit different, just because if you're gonna apply this like all over your skin for that like bronze glow, you might not want it to be quite as thick and like blurring as the original. You can see the tint like more on my forehead. And there's no illumination in here, which is what I thought it had. It's like a matte bronze. So this is what it looks like all over the skin. I don't know, this is interesting because it has that tint. It does make me look like I got a little bit of color. The problem is because my skin is just red by nature, whenever I use like bronzing drops, most of the time, I feel like I have to put something on top because I just look blotchy. I feel like it has a good amount of that bronze, that it's not like too much. It just kind of looks like I have been outside somewhat. So I want to see how foundation goes over this. I'm just going to use the Too Faced Born This Way. This is the new reformulation. I don't have another new foundation, so I thought we would just continue to test this out. I have the shade Vanilla. They say this is very light. I think it's like a light medium-ish, but, and I'm going to use my BK Beauty 106 today. And so far, this foundation, it feels nice. I'm just sort of confused. I feel like we're having so many like reformulations. It's confusing when you see it like new at Sephora and you're like, what's new about this? Like, why was it reformulated? But this does feel like it has a good medium buildable coverage. I'm gonna pull this all the way down. I'm like super pale right now. So now that we have our foundation on, I'm excited to try this new product. So these are new from Lunar Beauty. They're the Outer Dimension Bronzing and Sculpting Sticks. So he did send me 3 shades and the brush. So I pulled out 2 shades. I have Medium Sky and Tan Sky. I absolutely love the packaging. It's really compact, but it's just unique, which is kind of what he does with all of his packaging. The one thing I did notice is I feel like that these run a little bit light. I won't be able to tell until I get it on the skin, but this is the tan shade. This is Tan Sky. It's such a like creamy but light formula. I think I'm really gonna like it. And then we have Medium Sky. Medium Sky is more cool toned, but these are the two shades that I felt like were gonna work for me. Really, really nice range of colors because obviously he's a self-funded brand, so he can't come out with like 20 shades, but the actual range, there was like some really, really fair options all the way to deep. So I feel like he did a great job with that. And then this brush, when I was linking it, I was like, okay, how much is this brush gonna be? I was guessing, I don't know, like 24, something like that. This double-ended brush is only $15. I was kind of shocked by that because it's giving Makeup by Mario Duo, it's giving, you know, BabsBeauty, but on two different sides. So it looks like you have like a nose contour side, and then you also have this side. I'm excited to try this out. I'm gonna go in, I think with, let's do the medium shade just because it's more cool toned, and I'm gonna work off the actual product. I do have a code with Lunar Beauty. If you ever want to shop, you can use my code BabsBeauty, so I'll put it down below and you get, I think it's 10% off your order, but I'm gonna just use this side. Feels really, really creamy, but lightweight. Like it's not feeling sticky or heavy. So I'm interested to see how this pigment is. So it feels like it's a nice pigmented product, but not like, let's say like the LYS that's insanely pigmented. This is kind of like the sweet spot. And if I go too low, I can just take my foundation brush underneath that. It's not greasy. I don't know. I was kind of anticipating just by looking at the swatches, it looks like really high shine, but it's almost like once you blend it out, it kind of like melts into your skin and has more of like that natural finish. So it doesn't stay like super emollient or dewy looking. I think I used a little bit too much there. Yeah, it's interesting. It's like really, really thin in texture, but it almost like blurs out. So this is what the contour looks like from Lunar Beauty in the shade Medium Sky. Yeah, as you blend it, it almost just kind of sets to like a almost soft kind of matte natural finish. So I don't even know if you would need to like powder this. So pretty impressed so far. I wanna go in next with this Anastasia blush trio. So I love the pink trio. I went back and got another one, and I don't really have another like brand new cream blush. So I thought that we could dive into this today. So I went ahead and grabbed a BK Beauty 109, and I originally would want to go in with these two. These are the two that I've used the most, but I think I'm gonna actually dip into this shade. I just wanna see what this looks like on my skin tone. So I'm gonna load it up and then really buff it out. This is a formula that is more on the matte side. Pretty pigmented. I don't love that shade on me. It's definitely a like neutral, kind of like berry tone. I wanna add some fun because I just like to have like a bright cheek. I don't know what it is. So I am gonna dip into this really bright shade and just use this sparingly on the higher points. The pink trio of this blush is absolutely stunning. Like the shades, the formula, it gives me the best baby doll cheeks. Punch that up, and then once we go in with like powder and concealer, everything will settle down. But if you like more of a matte formula and you like really pigmented, these are really nice. And for concealer, I don't have a new concealer per se. I tried the RMS Beauty and I really liked that in my previous video, but I have a new to me, and this is the Vital Skin Concealer from Westman Atelier. So they sent this over to me. I have L2, and I'm really interested to give this a try. Feels really creamy, but thin. I definitely need hydration in my concealer. And I'm gonna blend that out with this IT Cosmetics concealer brush. I love this brush. It's like really nice and fluffy, but diffuses your concealer really nicely. Okay, this actually has some good coverage. Feels hydrating, but sort of like settles. So it's not like sticky or thick like a lot of hydrating concealers can be. I actually like how this shade is like brightening, even though my eyes are cool and this is more like warm. So I'm just gonna pull this down into the blush. I mean, I feel like the coverage on that is a good medium. It looks really nice so far. I wanna see how it sets with powder though. To set the face, I'm just gonna use my L'Oreal powder that I know and love. So I'm just using Translucent Light. This foundation is a little dark for me right now, so I'm just gonna really like pack this on. So I went ahead and threw on some lashes and finished off the lower lash line. I want to add a little bit of this Ilia blush in Closer. This is what the blush looks like from ABH, but I just want to add a little bit of this on top. This is my favorite shade from the Ilia launch. And then I also don't have a new highlighter, which is kind of surprising. So I'm gonna use my Tom Ford highlighter. This is literally like up there with the Dior. It's just perfection. So just to add a little bit of glow. And then let's go in to finish off this look. So I have some new lip liners from Melt. I'm trying to decide what color I want to do. They came out with 4 new lip liners and 4 new lipsticks. So these I love. I've raved about this formula forever. This is such a nice like standard formula. I would say comparable to, let's say, the MAC original lip pencils, but less dry. That's kind of what they remind me of. Just really good wear, not super creamy where they're sliding all over, but they're just not as dry as the MAC. So I want to see if I should use, let's try this shade, which I usually wouldn't go for. This is in Rosette, and see what this looks like. This is like a mauve-y pink. And I think this is the lightest of the new shades. Okay, so this is the shade Rosette. I'm actually surprised how much I really like that shade. I typically don't like anything like pink as a lip liner, but I wanna try a lipstick, and I don't know which one to do because we do have kind of some different tones here. So we have this like standard peachy nude, and this one is called Pink Noise, but I would say it still leans pretty like warm. And then we also have Love Note, which kind of has that like mauve tone. And then we have more of a grunge, which I kind of want to try, but I think it's going to be too dark for the lip liner I chose. This is Grunge Nude. I might still try that. And then we have an interesting one that has like a metallic finish. And this one is Ghosted, which I don't know if that's going to be my vibe. These do feel creamier than the original matte lipsticks from Melt, if you're familiar. These feel like they have more hydration. So I think I'm gonna just go for it. I'm gonna go in with Grunge Nude. Don't know if that's working with the blush. Okay, let's see. So this is Grunge Nude. I think it's pretty, but it's like the blush is throwing me off. So let me try the Love Note, which is that like mauve shade. I don't know if I'm thrown off by like my lip line not being darker. I think I'm gonna jump into this lip liner in Mocha. Should I do Mocha or should I grab the Toast? Let me grab Mocha. I just like to have like definition. So I'm still not sure that I'm loving this lip with the cheek with the eyes, but I want to go ahead and just try this. Why not? I'm going to go in with the Ghosted. Just in the center. I'm not sure that frosted lips are my kind of vibe, but I do feel like they look really pretty on like certain people. So I'm going to go ahead and just wipe away all of the powder that I have. Okay, and the last product that I want to try is this Naked Sundays Hydrating Glow Mist. So this is an SPF 50 plus. It says it's supposed to be a top-up spray. So I'm gonna try this out. I think Cheryl likes this. Ooh, it has a really nice mister. It does smell like tropical. So I'm just going to, I think I'm gonna cover my eyes just because it has an SPF on it. I don't want it to like ruin the eyeshadow, and we'll see how glowy this makes me because I don't want to be greasy. Okay, that's interesting. I don't really feel like anything's like touching my face. Like I'm spraying, but I feel like you gotta get like really close, which I like that in the sense because I don't feel like I look greasy, or I feel like you could reapply this. I mean, I feel like it gave me a little bit of glow, but nothing crazy. And the mister is like really, really fine, which I do like. It smells really good too. It's a little strong because it's like tropical, but I'm going to get my hair together, get it out of these clips, and I'll be back and we'll do my initial thoughts on everything I tried. All right, guys, so here's my finished makeup look, trying out a bunch of new products. I feel like we have a mix of cool and warm tones, but I still wanted to just try everything and get my thoughts, even if this isn't the most cohesive look. So let's start off with the Persona lip balms. I think these are okay. I don't think there's anything special about them. They're not bad. There's nothing that I don't like. They don't have a taste or smell that I can detect. I feel like they're shiny. They feel good on the lips. I just wish that this shade had more pigment, and these two colors and formula, it's just not standing out to me. It's just kind of in the realm of it's good, but it's not gonna replace my BabsBeauty or my Ole Henriksen. So just kind of a so-so product for me. I think we're just oversaturated with lip balms and other categories as well. So you really have to do something to like wow me. And these are just good in my opinion. Now moving on to the Urban Decay palettes. These I think are pretty on the eyes. Like when I'm looking at my eyes, again, I'm just looking in the mirror, so I have to look at my footage. I feel like I'm surprised how pretty this turned out. I didn't struggle with anything. I felt like everything blended really easily, and I did feel like the creams were nice to kind of adhere to. I didn't find them to be super pigmented, but they did provide a base. I'm not seeing like any creasing or patching. I just think that for the price, the packaging is really hard to get past. I don't know if the shimmer shades in here are really wowing me. I think without the topper, I probably would have been like, eh, but the topper, once I got it kind of sheared out, it did add some sparkle, but they're just not standing out to me. I don't think they're bad. Like, I didn't have a struggle making this look, but they're just not like standing out in all of the eyeshadow palettes that I have. And even though they're boring colors, the packaging really is what turns me off the most. I'm interested to keep trying out this Maybelline Colossal Mascara. I did find that it did give me some nice volume and length. It's more of a wet formula, but it didn't get all over, which I like. I just felt like my lashes were a little heavy, so I went ahead and just like recurled them and clamped them with my false lashes, and I like it much better. So I want to keep trying this, kind of see if it holds my curl up, because that's my biggest struggle. But I do think that it's nice upon first impression. Now the POV Drench It, I don't know, I feel like my skin looks good. I don't find this to be incredibly hydrating. This would be something that would work for like combo or oily skin types, just because I thought it was going to be milky and it was clear. So it's more of a lightweight formula. I don't know. I don't think that I noticed anything like crazy about it, but I didn't have anything wrong with my makeup application after using it. So again, I'll have to keep testing it out. There's nothing really that's like standing out to me, good or bad. And I kind of like this Huda Beauty Easy Blur Primer in the bronze. This is really innovative. The fact that it has a bronzer look to it that's not radiant, but still smooth, is kind of something you don't really see. It still has that same texture of that silicone slip feel, even though it is silicone free. So I kind of like this. I feel like it gives me a little bit of color and makes me feel like I'm not so washed out. And then the Too Faced foundation, I'm enjoying it so far. I do feel like it's more of a natural finish. It was more dewy the other day when I tried it, and I think it's because I used a more hydrating base, whereas this was more lightweight. So I think it kind of adapts to whatever you have underneath. So if you have more of a combo oily skin type, like a matte primer or just less, you know, moisturizer overall, I think would be better. And if you have more of a dry skin type, then you can go dewier. But I'm enjoying it so far. I still have to see like how it wears and try it with a bunch of different products. The Lunar Beauty, I love the packaging, and I love that this is so lightweight, but it kind of blends out to where you don't don't have to set it. And what I mean by that is it almost comes off like a really emollient, thin cream, and then when you blend it out, it sort of self-sets, so you kind of get the best of both worlds. I don't find that I lost a lot of the color, because a lot of times if something's super dewy and I have to set it heavily with powder, it kind of takes away the actual like sculpting. And because this sort of self-set, I just kind of dusted lightly around and I feel like everything looks nice, still bronzed and sculpted. So I'm interested to keep trying these, and I really like this brush. I cannot believe that this is only $15. This is such a nice side for your bronzer or blush or your concealer, your foundation. And then I did use this with a powder for nose contour, and I really like this as well. So pretty impressed by both of those. Already really love the ABH blush trio. I prefer the pink one, and I do prefer these two shades, but I just think this is such a nice matte formula, very, very pigmented. Just really been enjoying that. I hope she comes out with more shades eventually. Now the Westman Atelier concealer, I actually really like this. I feel like my under eyes look nice and smooth but bright. I do feel like my complexion is pulling quite warm, and I think it is because I have cool on my eyes and then my hair is quite warm. I go to get my hair done in a couple days, so I have like no purple shampoo or toning left, and it is just pulling really yellow, which drives me crazy. But I think this is really nice. It's very, very like hydrating, smoothing, but it's not sticky. I don't find it to be heavy. So interested to keep trying that. And then surprised how much I really like these lip liner colors from Melt, specifically Rosette. I felt like it was a really pretty like mauve-y tone, and usually I don't like pink or mauve lip liners, but I thought this was really pretty. And I do have to say about the lipsticks, these feel more hydrating. And I'm trying to see, are these a different formula? No, it says the Ultra Matte. So I feel like they did something to this formula, because the original Ultra Mattes are super dry. Like you just put a little bit on the center of your lips because they are just really dry. These have more of a slip to them, so they're more hydrating, which I think a lot of people are going to prefer. So really like those. And then, I don't know, this is interesting, this SPF spray. I do feel like it is lightweight. It doesn't make me look greasy. I feel like I have a little bit of hydration, but it doesn't feel like overly sticky. I did feel like I had to get like right up on my face though, because the mister is so fine. So you kind of got to get like literally an inch from your face, but I think it smells good. And if it doesn't make me greasy, it's really one of the only ones that I can like reapply and keep getting that SPF protection. So I'll have to keep testing that out, but I want to know what you guys think about this look that I came up with. What do you think about the products that I tried? Have you tried them? Do you want to try them? I always love chatting in the comments. I also want to know what you guys want me to review next. There's a lot of launches that are going to be coming, and I want to know what do you guys want to see the most, so I can prioritize and pick up the ones that you guys are really interested in. So any feedback that you can leave down below would be greatly appreciated. Of course, I will link everything that I used today down below in my description box. If you did enjoy this video and you want more trying new makeup videos, give this video a thumbs up. And if you're new here, I hope you stick around and subscribe. As always, thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.